What's up, everybody? This is Mason with the Next Guy Up podcast. I got Tinsley and my boy Zach. We are ready, fired up for a weekend preview. We have some college basketball. We have some NBA basketball. We have NFL playoffs. We got a lot going on. We even have some head coach breaking news to start off with. And we're just super pumped and excited to just kick this episode off. How are you guys feeling today?
I have never been more ready to talk about all things ball, basketball, football, maybe some soccer ball,
Wiffle
ball, tennis ball.
I will say that Tins has a really weird energy right now where he's kind of preying upon the Titans' woes currently. He's made a couple comments already that's like, wow, Titans fans are down bad right now. You guys are... So I think he's got a little bit of excitement. I don't know. He's got a gleam in his eye.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we'll get to the coaching hire, but there were two guys I wanted y'all to hire: Dan Quinn and Brian Callahan. And thank goodness you got one of them.
Okay, so I've had a lot of scrutiny. A lot of people reaching out to me, hey, why don't you back up the Titans? And I've been down. But I'm ready to clash with Tinsley. I'm ready to back up the Titans a little bit. I'm back and forth, just like everybody. We all have weaknesses, okay? But I'm ready I got some stats about our new hire. I'm ready to go. And he's kind of checked with some people. He's like, hey, how are we feeling? And no one's said anything, but I'm going to speak for the group. It's going to be fine. We have he's 38, I believe. Mm-hmm. You see this all the time, McVay. We're going younger. I'm glad we're not going with Pete Carroll. I'm going to be honest, or a Bill Belichick. Why? Because you're going to have 2 years of a head coach and he's going to retire, or 3 or 4. Got somebody young in there. The Bengals offense has been good. I have some stats. I'll throw them out. I'm ready.
Go ahead, but I have some questions about that offense.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to start out with Jake Browning. Did anybody know who this guy was? He held down the fort, and our head coach now has worked with Peyton Manning in the past. He's worked with the Raiders, and there was
Derek Carr, elite.
Yeah, so elite. Listen, Bengals. 26.1 points per game, 7th in the NFL. 360 yards per game, 8th in the NFL. 265 passing yards, 5th in the NFL. That is the rankings of the offense when he was the head coach for the 5 seasons with the Bengals.
You mean offensive coordinator?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Offensive coordinator. But
let me ask you a question.
Running the offense. Yeah, go ahead.
Does he call plays for the Bengals offense?
Okay, has a lot.
Has he ever called plays for the Bengals offense?
But I don't know who's going to call the plays for the Titans either. We don't know that yet.
He is. First time in his career he's going to call plays.
Okay,
while managing the whole team.
We don't know all that yet. You just told me a minute ago that the new GM and
he said he's calling plays.
Okay, well, we'll just wait and find out. This is not I'm sure there's plenty of head coaches that have called plays right off the bat that have done well. That's how you get to become good at what you do. Zach, help me out.
You also mentioned the success of Jake Browning. Bill Callahan's not the quarterback coach. He also doesn't call the plays. He had a hand in helping make the game plans. So that's fun, I guess. He was Derek Carr's QB coach at the Raiders. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because Derek Carr is the definition of mediocre at best.
Okay, let me go over
He did work with Peyton Manning, but so did Adam Gase, and a whole bunch of other guys who got jobs from that who didn't exactly work out.
Okay, real quick, let me go over his resume.
Please, I'd love to hear it.
Okay. 2013 to 15, offensive assistant for the Broncos when Peyton Manning was there.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit Lions quarterback
Offensive
coach.
assistant. What's that mean?
Zach, help me out.
Cut Mason's mic. We're cooked. Listen, this is not worth arguing over, Mason, because we're not
But
winning this.
also, homeboy over here is trying to get his whole coaching staff and GM and
Not the whole
everything
one.
fired.
Listen,
Just the
you can
offensive coordinator.
be a fan and a supporter of a program and still say, "Wow, this was really stupid," and that's what I'm doing here. There in no world is firing Vrabel and hiring this guy an upgrade of any. It's such a huge downgrade
No.
that.
Yep.
Do you actually believe this,
No,
Mason?
I know.
There's no way you do.
No, hold on. No, I
Zach
was a
Taylor.
huge Vrabel. Like I was a huge Vrabel fan. I was like literally like, what are we doing when we fired him? I agree, but here's the thing: if I would have said exactly what you would have said, then everybody would have roasted me. So I'm just over here trying to be the strong Titans fan that I'm supposed to be.
Listen, is Zach Taylor considered a great NFL head coach, or did Joe Burrow come along and save him from being fired? Does anyone consider Zach Taylor a great coach? Is that the tree you want to be plucking from? Is that the fruits that you want? Is a Zach Taylor coaching tree?
To be honest, I don't even know if we could have found anybody better than what we already had.
Well,
That's exactly true. I think yes.
Yes,
I think that's
okay.
the point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm literally trying to give a background resume and trying to like say what, trying to have some optimism. I'm just trying to have a little bit of optimism here.
Well, I just think mentioning someone like Peyton Manning, who's already a veteran in the league, famously kind of coached himself in a lot of ways, that all of his own stuff like was, he was in the lab all the time anyways. It's just like, okay, great, you coached this quarterback who probably didn't need very much coaching anyways. In my mind, I don't know. I will always be a Titans fan, but this is one of those decisions that's just, I mean, I went through this with the Vols for a long time of like, holy cow, why are we hiring this person? What, this decision is not going to lead to success. And I hope this guy ends up being successful, and I hope he ends up being a great coach. But not a whole lot of hope at this point for, I don't know, the people at the top have not proved to me that they can make very competent decisions, and so it's been a rough ride for the last couple weeks for sure.
Right, because now
And
Amy has gone and proved Titans fans' worst fears right. That Vrabel wanted to stay, and he was going to work with the GM, but he wanted someone in between, an EVP, a vice president of football operations. And now the GM has been promoted to that. He has been handed the keys to the kingdom, which is what Vrabel said he didn't want. Was a GM who had full roster control, meaning that your new GM could say, "Hey, I don't like this player. He's cut." Normally, head coaches have some say in that. So it looks like he got the job, Bill Callahan, because he's just willing to work with whatever the GM says, which is not always a great recipe for success. And I think that's why you couldn't get a coach like a Brian Johnson or a Bobby Slovic or Adam, whatever his name is, from the Dolphins, or Belichick, because coaches don't like to be micromanaged in the way that it's probably about to happen.
You feel like they were searching for someone who would almost be like a yes man to the top of the organization and do what they want. And then Vrabel definitely wasn't that.
he was not that.
And so you hire someone like that, and I think you're at the mercy of the people at the top. And so far, most of the decisions they made have not been very good in my mind. So that's that.
The best thing that could happen from this hire, if this happens, then this makes it okay hires. If he can get his dad to leave the Browns to come be the offensive line coach for him, because his dad is considered the NFL's best offensive line coach ever. He worked for the Patriots for a long time. He is just regarded as like one of the best developers of offensive linemen. So if you could go and get him to come on down, then that would probably help this hire out a little bit.
Okay, so final statement from your boy Mason. Who has had the longest tenured with the Titans since Jeff Fisher? We
Was it?
had a good thing.
Yeah, it was Rabes,
We
right?
had a good thing going. It was Mike Vrabel. Do you want to hear the coaches before? Nobody wants to hear it. Titans fans know. We had Mike Munchak,
Was it?
Ken Wisenhunt, Mike Malarkey,
Hey,
Mike Vrabel.
we
Wow, we
shared
got
Mike
three
Malarkey with
Mikes.
you.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel. And now this guy, which I agree with Zach once he said it, in the whole yes man type of like you go with like Mike Vrabel wasn't that. We had a good thing going, we let him go, and now he's probably gonna coach and make another team successful, and it's gonna make me sick. I was just trying to give a little bit of background on this guy and have some minor hope of some hope and optimism. Sue me. But I hope the people that have been giving me grief about not backing up the Titans stand up with me and back me up a little bit, or at least just be like, you know what, pat on the back. You did your due diligence. So that's all I'm asking for.
Well, speaking of hope and optimism, we have some more exciting news from around the world of football today. And this is breaking, like the
Breaking news.
last 10 minutes. Jim Harbaugh leaving college football to go take his talents to the NFL at the Chargers. Pretty exciting stuff for us college football fans. Just getting rid of Harbaugh. I mean, you get rid of Harbaugh and Saban and Belichick really in the same offseason. It's successful. And
Well,
so, yeah. But
Belichick's
Belichick's
going to
not
go
rid of him.
somewhere.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere for sure.
He's really Palpatine. He's going to keep coming
That's true.
back.
He's all knowing, all seeing. And so this is kind of hilarious because what happens whenever some of these teams sell their souls to the devil is they end up getting bitten at some point. The same thing happened with like USC when they took Lane Kiffin. The same thing is happening to Michigan right now. They knew that Harbaugh was kind of a bad guy. They supported him to the end, and here they're reaping what they have sown. He has abandoned them so far into the offseason that they are just cooked almost. Like
Yeah.
they, I mean, even worse than Bama. Multiple weeks after Alabama lost Saban, and all of them complained about the transfer portal. Now Harbaugh's gone, and so if you thought it was hard for Alabama to pick up people with the transfer portal, now they at least have all the Michigan players transferring that they could pick up potentially. Like, and maybe a bunch of those players will just switch between the schools. You wonder if that's going to happen. Some of the people who left for the portal, if they're going to land at Michigan, and then the opposite, landing at Bama. I think that's a potential. But Bama now has to find a head coach from somewhere.
Michigan.
I hope it's that crying coach from the sideline of the games
I hope so
from the
too.
Penn State game.
He'll still be crying about Jim Harbaugh. He's like, he built a culture here. And I'm just carrying the ball.
I hope that's who gets it. That would be so funny.
That'd be the best.
We don't know very much about what's happening, or like I said, this literally just dropped here whenever we were recording this. But talk about changing the landscape of college football. You lose Saban and Harbaugh, two of the top 4 or 5 coaches in the league, and all of a sudden things start shaking up a good bit. So, pretty exciting time. You guys have any thoughts on the Harbaugh of it all?
I just, I'm happy to see him leave Michigan because I don't like their fans, and now that they've won a national championship, they're going to be probably pretty obnoxious. And I can't think of a better team for so much overrated coach to go to than the dumb, overrated Chargers with Justin Herbert,
Super Bowl winning
Chargers. Who blows a 27-point lead and a half? I don't know. The Chargers do that too. So that's my thing. I'm glad that's where he's going. Can't wait.
I have my crystal ball here. I'm seeing into the future, and they're going to get suspended or taking a draft pick away because someone that is once a cheater or twice a cheater or 3 times a cheater, because homeboy has got caught with 3 different things. He needs a 1-up to be successful. Okay. He's going to find something, maybe not deflating footballs or or anything like that, but he'll find some type of way to break a rule, and the NFL is they're going to put this down because NCAA, they don't have any backbone. They're going to let him get away with this, and then they get a championship. Where NFL, no, we're going to take away your picks, suspend you, fine you, and I could see it happening because why not? He did it all last season and got away with it. Just we've literally talked about it before. 3 or 4 coaches. I need to get a list of them. I'll do this. I know Pete Carroll's one of them. When you end up getting smacked around by the NCAA and you want a way out, you go to the NFL. I would love to know how much he's getting paid right now, but Tim's already told me. Good luck trying to find that out.
Yeah, NFL coaches' salaries do not have to be shared because the owners pay them. It doesn't come out of like a team budget or
Nope.
like cap room or anything like that. So you never know what they're getting paid. Yeah, no. So I'm very excited. That's where he's going. Sorry, I just saw a tweet that apparently Bill Belichick has lost favor as the Falcons' choice of head coach.
Ooh.
So
Well,
just
let me just say this. I hope Michigan fans enjoy their championship this season. Best case scenario at this point. Now, I mean, even if they have a huge splashy hire they steal from another team, best case scenario is they're going to have to take a couple years to rebuild. I mean, no one has a coaching turnover and is good the next year. I don't know if it's ever happened. It has not happened. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know enough to someone could bring something out on me probably, but it's very rare for a first year head coach to win anything significant. I think you almost always have a pretty decent sized period where you have to build a program back up, especially after I'm assuming they're going to have a huge transfer portal situation happening.
yeah.
Now, if they steal a head coach from another school at this point, a big splashy program, which I don't even know who they would go after. We're so early that I don't even. There's no names being thrown around yet.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario is now that Harbaugh's gone, all of the infractions fall upon the university at some point. We uncover some more stuff happening, and they have to forfeit their championship, which would just be hilarious. So, I mean, it would take some pretty serious infractions for that to happen, probably. But you could see some penalties falling on Michigan, I would say. So, I hope it was a fun run for you guys, for you Wolverine fans out there. I think you're coming on some hard times in the future. Here soon. Welcome.
We can only hope.
That's what happens.
Were you saying first year head coach like ever, or just first year head coach with the team?
Like with a new team, like someone coming
Urban
into
Meyer, Ohio State, 2012.
Gross.
Buckeyes finished 12-0.
Hmm.
Everything else before that is like in the 70s.
Wow.
But it's
That's good research.
Gus with Auburn, 2013, 12-2.
Hmm.
Everything else, yeah, we're like
Wow.
old. So
There you go.
all right.
It is tough to win with a new program for sure. So excited to see what happens there. I think that'll be fun to follow.
Should be the last big opening unless Michigan can somehow poach someone from a big job, and then the cycle, I guess, would continue. But
Boy,
I don't.
That'd be a bummer. Yeah.
They won't do it. Dude, too many transferring out. You wouldn't want to leave something that you already got like good going with another
it's a pretty
team
big upgrade, though.
possibly.
Okay, so to finish up college football, maybe for the like I said, the season, I've got a little trivia. I said I didn't have a trivia. I've got one. I saw this tweet. This is from 2016 to 2023. It says, and this is from Nielsen, who does the ratings for TV. It says 50% of all football viewership came from games involving only 18 total teams. So the top 50% of all views came from 18 teams total, which is pretty crazy. So the top teams are pulling a huge majority of the views. The the bottom 50% of FBS teams only pulled 10% of views. So if you are not one of those top elite teams, good luck getting viewership. I thought it'd be fun for us to try and name off some of these top 18 teams. Any guesses on number one?
I would say
It's
number
by a
one.
significant margin.
Alabama.
It is Alabama.
Yeah.
It's from 2016 to 2023, so obviously that's like the sweet spot. They're number one by like a wide margin. Any idea on the rest of the top couple?
Georgia.
Georgia is third.
Oregon.
Oregon is 18th. But they are in the top 18.
Ohio
Ohio State's
State.
number 2. Yeah, that's number 2. Again, by a pretty good margin.
Michigan.
Michigan's 4. Georgia and Michigan are right there. I mean, some of it's the teams that were really good over the whole period are at the top right there.
Yeah. Is UT in there?
They are. Yep. Number 16, which again is saying something because we were kind of garbage until 2022, really.
True. Yeah.
I mean, it always shocks me that, but Tennessee, like the bowl games that came out, that the Tennessee Iowa numbers were the highest rated non New Year's Six bowl.
Nico effect.
Could be some of it for sure. Yeah, but some other teams on the list are Clemson, Notre Dame,
Trevor's years,
Oklahoma, LSU, Penn State, Texas, Auburn, Florida, Wisconsin, Washington, Florida State, Tennessee, USC, and Oregon. So if you're running some numbers down there, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 SEC teams. Well, next year, because Oklahoma and Texas both join the SEC. Out of the 18, and then you've got a bunch of them are Big Ten as well. Really, almost all of them are either SEC or Big Ten, except for Notre Dame, who are cowards.
You love them. Minus 800 ticket, by the way, you cashed. That was the best feature of the last season.
Got it.
No, any of those surprising? Maybe Florida State, because like they came on. Like, have they been relevant before this? Have I just ignored them? Kind of
Not
put the blinders on. Yeah,
Florida
State's
some
a
of these are
shocking
just
one.
some huge. Like Penn State has really not been great in that span.
Yeah.
2016, I guess Auburn was good. Maybe not. Auburn's not even really been that good since in that span either. Some of those were surprising to me. Notre Dame has not been good in that segment, but Notre Dame does get viewers. Let me tell you. So just the interesting stats to think about. That 50% of all views came from those 18 teams.
Who's going to be in that next year? Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying they bring in the viewership. I'll tell you that much.
We'll see if they continue bringing in viewership next year.
That's it. Michigan poaches. Michigan takes him to Michigan. That's breaking news.
You heard it here first.
Michigan would never hire him.
You're probably right, but just think of the viewership.
He's just not proven. I feel like Michigan's going to have to go for someone who they feel like can bring in some. At this point in the season, you have to pick someone who can bring in recruits like now.
Yeah,
like you need transfer people coming over, or else you're cooked next year.
Deion Sanders, transfer
maybe
guy.
You're right, Mason.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Throw a bag at him.
Michigan prime time. Let's do it.
You heard it here first. Breaking news.
Nothing screams prime time like Michigan football. The maize and blue, baby.
I would love to see
Dave Portnoy will lose his mind. Yes. Oh, I was thinking the same thing. I would also like to know his reaction right now. He probably has an emergency
like that
conference.
Yeah, Deion used to work for Barstool. They're buds.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
Yeah, he used to do their pro football show.
Ooh, that's something.
He was terrible. He would like not even know half the people on the rosters because he didn't watch.
So. All right, NBA time.
Yeah, let's dabble in a little NBA here. We we're a little bit off the rails here. Me and Mason were getting into it about Bill Callahan before the pod started, and we had to keep that energy.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay. He forgives me for trashing on his head coach. Just, you know,
No,
playful rivalry here. Jags Titans. I'm not supposed to like his team.
it's
See
true.
how
Yeah.
much longer he'll be a Titans fan, though, the way that things are going.
All right, let's move along here.
All right.
NBA.
So, January 22nd is the anniversary of Kobe Bryant scoring 81 points. Well, I guess a lot of players in the league decided to honor that by going off the other night. We
Yeah.
had Joel Embiid go for 70 against, I actually don't know who he was playing. But I know that um, Carl Anthony Towns went for 62. His coach ripped him a new one in the press conference afterwards because they were trying to get him to score more points to catch Kobe, but also pass Embiid for the night. And they almost, I think they almost lost the game. I know that he got pulled with 2 minutes left and they were losing because their coach was really mad. He's like, "We're not playing real basketball right now. We're just trying to play recess basketball." So
So
those were two crazy stats right there.
yeah, Timberwolves did lose the game.
Oh wow, they did.
And then
That's
the
hilarious. You have someone score
76ers
62 and lose.
I know, right? So yeah, they lost to the Hornets by 3 points, and then they were playing the Spurs, the 76ers were. So
That's right. Yep.
they were talking about not continuing to run up his stat line, but because it was still a close game. And Embiid had like a press conference as well where he was like, just don't feed me on purpose. Like make smart plays. Like if
Yeah.
it opens up to where I'm open or whatever, like give me the ball, but let's not just force it just to like once he got close to like in that range. But yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. I became an NBA fan a little bit after that. So I never got to watch that live, but the highlights of like Kobe Bryant, it's just like a cool little like day. People kind of treat it like a holiday, to be honest. Like
Yeah, they
it
really
always
do.
gets brought up every single year, but some NBA players definitely went off. We also have some head coach changes in the NBA this early in the season.
Yeah, so Adrian Griffin was brought. So the Bucks win it all 2 years ago. Had an okay, decent year last year, early playoff exit. They fire the head coach that they'd won it all with, and bring in Adrian Griffin. They're currently second in the East and are 30-13. Um, and they fire the coach. Apparently, he had lost the locker room. He didn't get along with Giannis, and so they made a coaching change to Doc Rivers, who had uh, been on staff in like an advisory role. I know he calls games for ESPN, but
Yeah.
he's been like an advisor for Adrian Griffin. Well, he advised him so well that he lost him his job, and now he's took his job. One of the NBA is so weird with how coaching decisions are. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
this guy didn't even get a full season, not even a half season. They're not even at the All Star break, and he gets fired. Um, kind of weird, but when you're paying a player like Giannis $50 million a year and a coach $5 million, you're going to value that single player more, I guess. Um, and the ownership decided to go with what Giannis wanted, and so now they bring in Doc Rivers, which I don't know if that's really an upgrade. He's kind of been just mediocre at best with the Sixers, but I don't know how much an NBA coach really matters because I don't.
Yeah.
They're just playing basketball. I know there's
Yeah.
plays and styles of play and stuff, but I feel like in the NBA, it's just really like a lot of just draw it up as you go.
Zach was kind of talking about the yes man for our Titans head coach. You have to be for NBA. I almost feel like if you just get along with the players and you don't butt heads and you're just like a yes man, like it's the probably the most insecure. Like it's such a wish wash job. Like I feel like Frank Vogel for the Lakers, he won a championship during COVID year. I might add. Some people are like, well, it didn't count, but he won and he's not even with the Lakers anymore. And it's kind of crazy. Like if you think about it, an NFL head coach would have won a Super Bowl in 2020, they would still be there no matter what, in my opinion. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like your resume doesn't matter in the past. It's more like just get along with the players and be successful. Not even be successful because 30-13 is second in their conference is not a bad like that's not a bad resume, and he lost his job. So we'll see what happens with Doc Rivers. They were the winning favorites to win the East, so we'll see what happens.
Well,
But that's all
that'll
I have for
be
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's some good NBA talk. Your boys know all about basketball, college and NBA. We'll touch on some more NBA stuff as trade deadline approaches. So there'll be some movement. There's always trade deadline in NBA is always very fun. And
And
then as
for
the
people
season gets winding down, we'll cover some playoff stuff too.
And for people new to the pod, like we've been very football heavy, but we want to like just let you all know we're gonna try to cover as much different sports. I want to do some research on like even baseball a little bit when it does get slow in sports. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna cover a lot of sports, and so that if you don't listen to whatever we talk about, just stay tuned because hopefully we'll hit your favorite sport or favorite team. So
Yeah, I'm trying to go to a baseball game this year. Trying to go to some
let's
hockey games.
let's get the squad like
Trying
live
to get
streaming
down
at a
to
game.
ATL.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
Zach, you in?
I'm in.
Zach loves baseball.
There's
Clear
a new
the throat
minor
and
league,
everything.
the minor league baseball team up in like the Sevierville area is moving to like the old city in Knoxville. So they're building like a minor league baseball stadium. Minor league baseball is fun. It's a different vibe,
Yeah,
but it's super chill and it's fun environment for sure.
That's it. Put it on the
We
schedule.
also have a minor league hockey team up in Knoxville that is very fun to watch. The Ice Bears,
Ice
electric.
Bears.
What a name. We need that in the NHL. Ice Bears.
Those games are electric.
An electric factory, some would say. All right. Let's college basketball. Zach, we want to do some college basketball.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
It's heating up. I will say that my road team narrative continues as we had two top 6 teams drop again on the road. One happened last night at who they were playing
Kentucky, South Carolina.
at South Carolina, who is kind of a sleeper right now in SEC. They lost big, and Kansas also lost on the road last week. And so they've dropped to number 7 in the AP ranking. Kentucky was 6 when they lost. And so we continue to see this trend of top teams losing on the road and how important those road games are going to become. I think when it's all said and done, the battle for the top like 1, 2, 3 seeds are going to come down to really, I think those teams are going to almost have won almost all of their home games and are just going to be losing their away games. And so
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that continue. I don't see that going away anytime soon. I do think we're seeing that the SEC is a little bit more competitive. A lot of people have started seeing this trend with the tiers of like Tennessee, Kentucky, Auburn are all looking very good at the top. But then there's this really competitive next tier of the Alabamas and the Mississippi States and these middle of the road teams that can beat you on any
Texas.
given. Texas A&M has been
Texas
pretty
A&M.
frisky.
Yeah.
Arkansas, when you're playing at Arkansas, is always a tough environment. And so I think Vanderbilt is still pretty bad at basketball. If anyone's curious out there, but
I mean,
I think they're a lot more.
Georgia's 13
Georgia's
and
very
5.
competitive. Yeah, they're right
Yeah.
there in the middle of the pack too. There's a lot of those teams that, depending on where they're playing, can be really competitive on any given night. So SEC basketball has been very fun to watch,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that whoever the battle for the SEC title by the end of the season is really going to come down to a couple games. Tennessee, Kentucky play each other home and away, or like a home and home situation. Auburn has to come into Thompson Bowling Arena this season. And so we've got a couple of huge games coming down the stretch. Tennessee plays at Alabama at the very end of the season. And so it's going to come down to it. Like I said, South Carolina, they only have 3 losses on the season. They're pretty frisky team as well. So it's been a fun season. I'm excited to see how it's going to pan out. And around the rest of the league, we still have the top couple teams are the same, but we do, like I said, we continue to see some teams at the top fall. So it's been exciting. Tim, did you have any takeaways from this week in college basketball?
Yeah, we had a top 10 team too. I know you're talking about the top 6 teams losing on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
road, but Memphis, number 10,
Oh, okay.
lost
Yeah.
an away game to Tulane, who's not very good at basketball. So I just like, if you're a gambler and you're listening to this podcast, look for those lines. Top 10 teams on the road. It's just it's just a pressure cooker, especially if it's a school that has like a rowdy student section. It's worth a little sprinkle on the underdogs because they're normally pretty plus money when you're talking about a top 10, top 6 team on the road against an unranked team. But I have a take. We're going to do a very fast Future Friday. The SEC is winning the college basketball national championship. Somebody in the SEC. I don't know who. Could be Auburn, could be Kentucky, could be Tennessee, Alabama. One of us. Someone from the SEC is winning it. Book it.
What a
Book
take.
it.
Put it in the books.
I'll say Alabama's got a team that could get really hot. Their shooters can get very hot, and if they do it all at the same time, they have a potential to go on a pretty big run, I think, in March. Auburn, I've not seen Auburn play a lot, but they, from what I've heard, they are super competitive, and I think that you're right. I think that the SEC is pretty loaded, and it might. They only have 3 teams in the top 25, but I think there's potential for the SEC to send like 7, 8, 9 teams to the tournament potentially. So,
yep,
could get exciting.
Well, there's not even a SEC team in the top 4 for the best odds according to DraftKings.
What a mistake DraftKings just made. I'm about to take everybody.
Well, I can't find conference winner like to win it. I can't just find that.
I'll just take them all as singles.
Oh, okay. Every single SEC team.
Well,
so do you want to know the top 4?
Is number 1 UConn?
No, they're tied for second.
It's Purdue, probably. Those frauds.
When was the last they lost in the first round last year, and they're still the number 1?
And I think the year before that too.
When was the last time a team repeated for national championships? I wonder.
Oh gosh,
I feel like that has not happened very often.
Is it Florida?
Did they repeat?
Florida did, yeah.
Joakim Noah.
Yep. Now Horford.
Gosh.
Wow. So Purdue, Houston, UConn, Arizona. Then you got your SEC teams quite a bit, actually. Kentucky, Auburn, North Carolina, Tennessee. North Carolina's not one, but I was just saying 3 of the next 4 were SEC teams. So, yeah.
Dang, Vegas not believing in Tennessee in March. That's probably smart. But
plus 1,600, Zach. You want to take that ticket?
I might take it. I already have. I took at the beginning of the season Tennessee to win the SEC. So got that cooking still. Future.
Oh yeah, I have that too. Let's go.
Let's go.
I forgot about that.
They don't even have the SEC on here. I was wondering how your odds are looking, but they don't have it to where you can bet it. Maybe because there's games on possibly right now, so we'll see.
Probably.
You could bet Tennessee to make the Final Four at plus 400. Seems like those odds should be a little bit longer than that. When's the last time UT has made it to the Final Four, Zacharoni?
Never.
Okay. Very good. Sounded so defeated. You sounded so defeated in it.
So many good teams never made it to the Final Four. Yep. This is the year, maybe. Who knows?
Love it. Love the confidence.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know if we should really go over like NFL coaches. Like we've kind of like wrapped it up a little bit in some coach
I was
stuff.
gonna say,
did you have anything else you wanted to add? There's not really been a whole lot of updates.
No, I mean, I feel like come Friday morning, one of these jobs might be filled. I know some teams are trying to be patient and wait for Brian Johnson from the Lions, but I do believe he is going to end up at Washington. It's pretty much like a lock. So that's really the only. I have no clue what the Panthers are going to do, or the Falcons, or the Seahawks. I haven't really seen anybody linked to the Seahawks to this point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of been
so head
more of a
coach head
random.
yeah, head coaches left that we've mentioned kind of already: Vrabel, Bill Belichick, and Pete Carroll. So like surprised to kind of
Yeah,
see
I don't
those.
think Pete
Yeah,
Carroll's going to go anywhere.
he talked about being interested, but I could see him not. But well, I just wanted to throw that out there that he's still an option. So, but we got some NFL playoffs. We're super excited about it. We ready to dive in, everybody?
Yes, let's talk about what could potentially just be another boring Super Bowl matchup, right?
Mm.
We all see kind of what might be happening here.
Well, apparently
I think
there's a
Zach called it
script.
about 3 weeks ago.
Yep. He is inevitable,
Yeah.
like
So
Thanos.
Just like
here's the
Thanos.
thing: as much hate as I give Josh Allen and the Bills, they gave the Chiefs their best punch, and it's not enough. It's just not. Patrick Mahomes is now at 13 career wins in the playoffs. He's 13-1 against people not named Tom Brady.
Mm.
His one loss is Joe Burrow. So I just like this until you beat Patrick Mahomes. I just don't. I I'll take him with a plus sign once again. I just don't
Okay,
know what to
here's one
do.
other. I've heard the narrative this week, um, of well, he was like a field goal kick away from losing the game, and Josh Allen can't affect the field goals or whatever. But I think whenever you talk about it like that, you're forgetting the fact that how much time there was on the clock.
Yep.
And I think you have to ask the question, and I think it would be fair if you give Patrick Mahomes the ball with a minute and a half left. Like how many times out of 10 is he going to get a field goal at least to win the game in that
I mean,
situation?
just a few years ago, he had 14 seconds against the Bills to
Yeah,
to get his team in position to kick a field goal to tie, and he did it. What do you think he's going to do with over a minute with timeouts left? I
that's
mean,
what I just feel like the odds of him going down and scoring are so high anyways. Like I feel like as soon as the
yep,
Bills didn't score a touchdown on that drive, it was kind of cooked.
it
Like
was
the
over.
game was done. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I hope it's okay that I'm mentioning this. Tinsley made a lot of money off the Chiefs last week. He's
I did.
chomping at the bit. They're at plus 154, probably better odds at other books. And once they go down by 3 points, smash, smash, smash. Like he's betting. And just like what I didn't even watch the game with him, but I literally texted him and was like, oh, you must be betting it right now. They just went down by three
Yep.
against the Bills. And he's like, I already did. I already took it. So I
Yeah.
have a quick stat of Rooney for y'all. Mahomes' first 6 seasons as a starter. You guys want to?
This I
This
know
is
I know the
insane.
stat, and
Okay,
it makes me sick.
2018 reach AFC Championship. 2019 reach AFC Championship. Wins the Super Bowl. 2020 reach the Super Bowl. 2021 reach AFC's championship. 2022 reach AFC's championship and won the Super Bowl. 2023 reaches the AFC championship. We've never seen, even with
No.
everybody talking, we've never seen anything like this, and it kind of gets overlooked. I feel like the fact that I just gave you that stat and you didn't know anything else, I would be like, well, who's favored? Everybody would say the Chiefs,
Yeah.
and they're not. They're 3.5 point underdogs.
Yeah. It opened at 3.5. You know, Peyton
It's
Manning
3.5.
didn't win 13 playoff games until he was 37 years old.
Wow.
It's insane.
Like,
It's,
this guy's
I
a
feel
freak.
like it's kind of starting to feel like there was a time when it with Tom Brady and the Patriots where it was sort of like the regular season doesn't really matter that much.
Yep.
And games didn't really start mattering until you made the playoffs and got there. And
Hmm.
then once you were there, it's like, oh, okay, we're actually playing football now. That's what it kind of feels like the season with the Chiefs, where they kind of just mosey through the season, and then they get to this game against the Bills. All of a sudden, Travis Kelsey has the game of the season. The team actually looks like they like a Super Bowl winning team. And then, so I don't know. I remember specifically games where if seasons where I felt like the Patriots were just kind of sitting around and biding their time and be like, well,
Yeah.
this doesn't matter until the playoffs come around.
I mentioned the Chiefs being underdogs. Kansas City is 16-4-1 against the spread in their last 21 games as an underdog, with 15 of those being outright wins. So they have won 15 of their 21 games as
That's pretty
underdogs.
good.
Now, I mean, is it, and I mean, like I said, until you beat the Chiefs and prove that you're better, then I'll ride with Patrick Mahomes with a plus sign next to his name. But this Ravens team is very good. I mean, they've probably have the best resume. They've looked the most dominant at times this year. I mean, I was pretty high up on the 49ers bandwagon, and then the Ravens went to San Francisco and beat them badly. So I mean, this Ravens team is for real. That defense is like a throwback Ravens defense for
Yeah.
sure. But I just think that the Chiefs are going to make Lamar beat them with his arm in a way that he doesn't want to. Like, he likes to pick them apart in the middle of the field, and they're not going to let him do that. And I don't know. It's just it. If I have to pick a quarterback to win a game right now, I'm picking Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I just want something different. Like we've talked about, how many times has he been in the Super Bowl? So me personally, I'm rooting for something different. I'm rooting for the Ravens. I'm rooting for another team, which we'll get into here in a minute. I just don't know how you like bet against Patrick Mahomes. We'll see. I want to see what the public like, how much is being bet on the Chiefs. We'll see. But you mentioned the 49ers,
Yep.
and they are also playing a game over the weekend. They're playing the Lions. The Lions are coming to town, and you have some interesting stats about the Lions and some of their struggles a little bit.
Yeah. So you would think playing Detroit, oh, bad weather, we play in the elements. No, they play in a dome, and so do the Vikings, who they've played twice towards the end of the year, and then they like the Cowboys. I mean, they're the whole end of their season was played indoors,
Yeah.
and Jared Goff is actually one of like I should have typed it in here. His stats significantly drop when he plays outside compared to inside. He's just an indoor cat, is what he is. Um, and Jared Goff, who used to play in the NFC West against the 49ers, is 0-5 in his last 5 games against them.
Mm.
Um, I think I think that's just a stat where it's probably pretty easy to struggle against the 49ers. They're one of the better organizations in the whole NFL. Both sides of the ball are loaded. I think as much as this Lions story is fun, it's fun to root for the underdog. It's fun to root for the scrappy team that's never done it before. Um, I think you're going to see pretty quickly the flaws of this Lions team, which are defensively, they're pretty bad. They're bad against the run and they're bad against the pass. They've got a pretty good pass rush, um, but the 49ers have an elite offensive line. And I just think you're going to see Christian McCaffrey rush for 100-something yards. Brock Purdy hit Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle over the middle a few times, and we're going to look up and the score be 28-7, and we'll go, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
You should put that in your final score prediction, like for our bet or something, because those odds pay out pretty good. That sounds like a pretty good score. Last time the Lions were in the NFC Championship was in 1991. There was 4 franchises that didn't exist: the Jags, the Panthers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Texans.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, they always showed the crowd, and it was so electric there. I kind of wish I was. I'm not a Lions fan, but I wish I was there just to like witness that. We could have put that on the stadium tour. Went to Detroit for a playoff game, but
Yeah, paid $600 a piece a ticket.
yeah,
They were
probably
bad. They were rough.
real quick. Yeah, Lions are 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 road games. Guess where they're at? On the road. The Lions are also 17-4 against the spread as an underdog of 4 points or under for Dan Campbell. They are 4 points and over, so they are a 7-point underdog.
Is it still at 7? It's not moved.
Yeah, it's still at 7. I just checked it. Last thing, 10 of the last 11 Lions games have gone over in the third quarter. So if you're at
Yeah.
halftime, they're a huge, and everybody knows this is not a secret anymore. They're a huge third quarter team. So if you're at
Yep.
halftime and they are down, like Tinsley says, stick around for that third quarter, and then maybe if it's still 28-7 going into the fourth, you can go ahead and turn on your favorite show or movie or something. But yeah, after all of that being said, do we want to do some predictions
Yeah, I'm down for this game, and then Super
for the
Bowl winner.
game, and then yeah, Super Bowl prediction and the winner. So who's going to be in the Super Bowl? And then the winner, Tins. Go ahead and kick us off.
This can change because after this game we still have 2 weeks before the game, so this is not trademarked. I cannot be sued for it being wrong. But I'm gonna go 49ers Chiefs, and I'm gonna take the 49ers to win this one in the Super Bowl. I think the 49ers are gonna win it all. I think the Chiefs are a little bit flawed compared to the last few years. So that's my prediction. But for a parlay this weekend, I would take the over in the Lions 49ers game and Chiefs money line. That's free. That one was free.
Didn't have to pay for that.
Nope.
So if I do get a bet going, I'm going to parlay Chiefs and Lions to be in the Super Bowl. And
Double underdog, baby.
Double underdog. Now, what my prediction and what I would want to see is the Ravens versus the Lions. With the Lions, they have gone through so many struggles. They're a fun team to watch. Look at Zach.
They played each other this year. It was bad.
They've gone against all odds. Give me the Lions or give me death. Actually,
death.
I'm just kidding. No.
I choose death.
All right, Zach. You gave me a thumbs down. What are you just going to chalk it up? Chiefs, 49ers.
I just think Ravens Lions would be just not very much fun to watch. I imagine that would not. I think Chiefs 49ers is the matchup that makes for the most intriguing Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like that. Last year's Super Bowl was very intriguing, like for the same way. It feels like, I don't know. I think Ravens 49ers would also be a good Super Bowl. There's something about feeling like it's the best two teams in the league going up against each other. You know, some years if there's like a big upset or whatever, it sometimes doesn't feel like that. But I feel like Chiefs 49ers would feel like these are probably the two best teams on paper right now. And this is the most intriguing matchup. So I think that's where it'll go. I think Chiefs win that one though. So that's my prediction.
All right. So we got different winners. I like it. Should we make some type of, we'll get a bet cooking. We should get some type of, for the Super Bowl, whoever loses has to do something. I don't know. We already got something cooking for the Super Bowl. You guys will have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could talk about it now. I don't know what you guys want to do, but we're excited about that. So
I did have before we finish up, a quick fact check from earlier, talking about consecutive national championships in basketball.
Yeah.
Tins was cooking. Since 1963, there have only been 3 teams that have repeated and won in consecutive years. The most recent one is Florida. In fact, in 2006 and 2007, coached by Billy Donovan. What a nice guy. Before that, the next one was Duke in 91, 92. Oh, sorry.
Nope,
91, 92. That would be obviously Coach K. And then there's one more since 1963. That would be UCLA.
When they
not
cheated?
Once, not twice, not 3 times. They won the national championship 7 times in a row between 1967 and 1973 with Coach John Wooden as the head coach. 7 in a row.
Some stuff about that. Talk about cheating? A cheater. Yeah.
Shout out. Wow, how are they cheating? I genuinely, I need to look into this.
I don't remember. I just know every time it's ever been brought up, everybody's like, well, yeah, but he just cheated. And like, he's the starter. Like, he created recruiting violations. He just
7 in a row. Hard to do.
7 in a row.
Jim Harbaugh could never. He's cheated and didn't win 7 in a row. So
Cheating's a lot harder than you think.
All right, that's a pod.
I think that's pod.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to this episode, and of course, our messing around episodes. Check everything out on social media. We got some things going. We got some fun things planned for the Super Bowl. We appreciate everybody listening and tuning in. Tell your friends, tell your families about the pod, and we appreciate you guys.